lean in, get close, and listen, because today we're going somewhere I didn't think would hit me as hard as it did when we started mapping this episode out. We're talking about TV dads. And before you go, oh, that sounds cute, pump the brakes, because the conversation, it got deep fast. Because the dads we grew up watching on TV, they weren't just characters. They were blueprints, whether we knew it or not. Some of us grew up with a great dad in the house. Some of us didn't. And some of us had a TV set that filled in the blanks. It's not sad, it's just real. So let's talk about it. Parallel frequencies. I am just Blane. She is Coco. You are the freaks. I'm excited today, Coco. This did get me thinking.
Yeah.
This did get me thinking. Yeah.
The influence of TV dads. I'm sure you can talk about yourself as you are a dad now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to be a TV dad, but we'll get to that. What TV have you watched lately? Did you finish White Lotus?
I finished season 1.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm getting into this like binge watching or starting shows I've never thought of starting. And I also started, what is it? Margot's Got Money Troubles?
Oh,
Money Problems?
Yeah.
Right?
How is that? That's on Apple. The new one on Apple, I think.
Elle Fanning, Michelle Pfeiffer, Nick Offerman, which we're going to talk about later. I got to talk about Nick Offerman.
Okay.
But
okay.
So good. What a good show. I'm hooked.
Does she wrestle in that? Is that the one?
I believe. No, I haven't seen all of it, but I saw a little like image. I was like, wait a minute, is that Nicole Kidman?
Nicole Kidman, and I think Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, the pro wrestler and podcast.
There is pro wrestling in there. Yeah, Nick
Talk is Jericho.
Former wrestler.
I'll have to check this show out. You know what? I'm on an Apple kick too. Widow's Bay. Holy shit. The new episode that just dropped at midnight. I happen to watch at midnight. This show, it's getting some Lost vibes. Big time. Like, It's wild. You got to watch it. 5 episodes deep. Apple TV Plus. Widow's Bay. Matthew Rhys. I like him. There's a dad for you on The Americans. He played a spy, a Russian spy, and had to be a dad. Now, we could get deep on that and have its own episode, but we better not. We better not, because we got a lot of dads that we want to talk about.
We're not even going to get to all of them today. There's no way. I have a list that's a mile long, but we did this with TV moms too. And there was just more and more and more that came up even after we stopped talking.
It's wild. I mean, but here's the thing about TV dads specifically, and tell me if you see this differently, but they exist in like this weird space where they're both aspirational and ridiculous at the same time. Like, nobody's real dad was that wise at exactly the right moment. Nobody's real dad had a perfect callback ready after the commercial break. You know, like it's not how life works, but we still measured our real dads against them, consciously or not. But that's the power of storytelling. TV, sitcoms, even if it wasn't a sitcom, it gave us mythology of fatherhood. Mm-hmm. It made me, yes, I'm a dad now, and I look back, I'm like, man, am I being Uncle Phil or Al Bundy right now? I'm thinking these kinds of things, but I think that it's I think it's beautiful, but I think there were some harmful ones in there as well. And then some of these dads are just hilarious. So we got to honor all of them.
Oh, yeah.
I think we got to honor all of them. Who do you want to kick it off with?
Oh, gosh.
Or do you want me to?
Well, I think the one that keeps coming up in searches when I say, like, all right, give me some ideas, some TV dads, let's look at some lists of people have made out there. And the one that seemed to come up number one, and we talked about this on the Mothers episode, Moms of TV, is Danny Tanner, Full House. But I still hold to that. He deserves the mom role. I feel like stepping in as a widower, raising his 3 girls, he took on the role that most of the moms seem to take on, traditionally. We're going to talk about untraditional roles and stuff like that. But the one that held all of that mental load as well as physical load of caring and nurturing for the children. And I'm going to get a little bit on some soapbox today, but, in comparison to some dads we saw on TV that were like, what not to do.
Oh, yeah.
So you had like Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey as kind of, stepping in to play, I don't know, more of that traditional dad role to the kids in the show.
They did.
So
They really did.
Danny deserves the mom trophy. He's on that spectrum.
Yeah, he really does. He really does. I'm gonna start off with the elephant in the room. I know. Cliff Huxtable as a character. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the greatest TV dads ever written. Full stop. Right there. But
100%.
He was aspirational Black fatherhood on primetime television at a time when that was radical. Like that was, I'm white. Look at me. I'm white, okay? White, grew up in the South on a farm. But you better believe the Cosby Show was on every night in my house. Like this had an impact on me. Cliff Huxtable had a huge impact on me. We can't ignore that. It's a complicated legacy, but we're grown enough here that we can sit down and say that and say that the character Cliff Huxtable is one of the greatest TV dads ever.
Such a good role model, an example of like the non-toxic masculinity, the sort of nurturing masculinity of, he was great at highlighting and supporting his wife in her role as a lawyer and breadwinner of the family as well. I mean, he slid into place as a true partner and co-parent. He knew just as much about the kids, where they were going, who their teachers were, the things that, moms often hold. He showed an example of and I remember that episode, I'll never forget, where Claire is like, sometimes she's talking to her future son-in-law with the whole macho masculine thing. And she's like, sometimes he brings me a cup of tea and sometimes I bring him a cup of tea. I loved that scene, but it's true. Cliff Huxtable, he was a great example. We can separate that out from the actor and we can just say,
exactly,
great TV dad.
I mean, what the man who played him did in real life, that's a completely separate, devastating conversation that we're not going to do here. We're talking about TV dads. Mike Brady. All right. I know it was kind of a different one. He's corny. We'll just say it, but he's also endlessly, beautifully corny. Here's my actual take on Mike Brady because, and I won't push back if necessary, but Mike Brady was the first TV stepdad we ever saw that was really handled with dignity. I mean, think about this. The man married in to a family with 3 daughters. He had 3 sons of his own, blended the whole situation, and never once treated those kids any differently than his own. In the 70s on network television, that was a statement. The timing is all there, but the corniness is the rapping. And that's how they kind of broke through. The message inside was, this family's real and love makes it so. So, I think that was a huge turning point for TV dads was Mike Brady.
Yeah, showing that blended families could make it work. Although that was the time where TV was showing idealistic sort of situations. Like, we know this isn't what real life looks like, but we're going to show you what we would like it to look like. That when you blend a family, it just blends that well and copacetic as this, and that no one has any resentment towards their step parent for being not the mom or not the dad and all that. And he had plenty of time, and you often wonder when did he work? Because he always had time for the kids, and he always had time to woo his wife and all of the things. So this was kind of coming from the era of TV that was a little bit unrealistic. We knew that.
I mean, let me fight on that a little bit, because Mike Brady was an architect. I think he designed their own house, didn't he? So
yes. When?
He was building things.
I don't know.
He was building stuff. I mean, that's a metaphor I'm taking. All right.
Walk through the house with a model once in a while, or a draft or one of those T-squares or something. He would walk through the house and be like, gotta get to work.
Exactly. That was it. That's all you ever saw. Okay. Give me another one. Give me who's on your list over there, Coco? What you got?
Well, I said we'd bring it up because Nick Offerman playing the dad in the news show that I was watching. Now, Nick Offerman, famously married to Megan Mullally in real life, is not a dad. And I've heard them kind of talk about, I've listened to their podcast together. They're a power couple to idolize. But Nick Offerman, there's nobody I can think of that has such dad energy. So even his role in Parks and Recreation as Ron Swanson, I feel like deserves a place on our list because he was like dad, right? He was dad of The Office. He was dad of, he.
You telling me Nick Offerman doesn't have kids in real life?
Right. That's what I'm telling you.
That's wild.
I know, right?
That's what. No, I'm saying. I mean, because you're right. Like he is the most dad. Yeah, like everything he does is gives off those like, and I mean that in the best kind of way. Like that's
again, very masculine, but very safe. I just feel like his voice, his demeanor. I would never feel like, oh no, I hope this guy doesn't yell at me any second. Like, I hope he doesn't get mad and then I'm scared for my life. Like, there's a lot of trauma we could talk about with how we feel about men. And sometimes, there were moments watching Roseanne where when Danny would get upset and like throw a chair, I would physically react at home. And I loved that show. Don't get me wrong. That was one of my favorite shows of all time. Just to put that out there first. But there were moments where I would tense. I'd be like, oh no, this is a dad getting mad. Right? And my dad didn't. It's not from my experience from a dad, but I think it's just inherited trauma. We just kind of have that. So I like Nick Offerman's way of just the quiet, calm presence that it's like, I got this. I can take care of you. I can take care of any situation. I'm in charge here. I love that.
Not that this is becoming a competition, but I think I've got the opposite of that. Red Foreman, that 70s show. Dumbass.
I'm terrified of him.
Right? But look, is that not the complete opposite of what you were just talking about? I mean, Red Foreman is not a good dad by modern standards, all right? Like, depending on who you talk to. But he's gruff, withholding, chronically unable to say, I love you, without it being a crisis. But he's honest.
Yep.
He's the dad that a huge portion of the audience actually had, so.
Very accurate
and here's the thing.
The 70s, right? This was a lot, but probably a lot of people experience a dad like Red Foreman.
And I said that kind of tiptoeing around it, but the show did it right because they never completely really let him off the hook, They never let him turn into a full-blown villain either, but he shows up, he works, he sacrifices, A lot of dads are Red Foreman, and a lot of kids are Red Foreman's dads are still processing that, So it's just one of those things, but I think that's, the sternness and the strictness. I loved him. I love Red Foreman. But I'm terrified of him too.
Yeah. Yeah. I love their dynamic too. We talked about this in the Moms of TV with Kitty. I mean, she kind of humanized him but I do resent a little bit of the fact that it's that old trope of like, the woman gets to be the emotional and nurturing one because dad can't. Like it's not in his nature, or, he talks about it. He's been through a war. So he's definitely playing the part of somebody who's like emotionally stunted.
But let's put this into perspective though, because this show is that 70s show, but it wasn't made in the 70s. So they were highly aware of what Red was and what Kitty was. Like they were highly aware of what they were doing and highlighted some of these things even more so than you probably would. Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like they did, they made the reboot, that 90s show.
90s show.
So all of us who were watching that 70s show in the 90s now get to see our generation played back again in our faces.
Exactly. And it's, yes, very much highlighting the negative, but not always, sometimes the positive too. So yeah, who's your next one?
Well, this is not so much a sitcom or comedy, but we talked about Gilmore Girls back when we were doing all of our Mother's Day things. And one of the actors, let me see if I can say his name right, Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I
Ventimiglia.
totally screwed that up. Oh, I should have practiced before we started. Anyway, he plays Jack Pearson on This Is Us. And that entire show really, truly, if you look at like the crux of the entire show, circles around Jack Pearson, their dad. Even
What
as
is this
they
now?
show, the kids as they've grown up and they're in their 40s and what's going on with their own families and their own lives, the effect of their father's death when they were young, how that played out in their lives. I mean, and people cannot deny that the Jack's death moment of this show was television history. Like I hadn't seen it when everybody else was seeing it. All I saw was that social media was flooded with crock pots and the image of crock pots. And I was like, what is this? What is going to happen? I hadn't gotten there yet. I just we knew that Jack dies because we see the future, right? And they talk about their father's death but when the actual episode came, it broke all of our hearts. It broke us all.
I think I've heard of this, but I've never seen this. But I might have to check it out. I'm looking on IMDb right now. I've never seen a show that is streaming on so many services.
Oh, really? Yeah, I imagine that. Mandy Moore plays his wife. Such a good show.
Hulu, Disney, Bravo, E, NBC, Sci-Fi, Telemundo, Tubi.
Yep.
Amazon. What? This is
so you would be crazy if you'd missed the show. I will just say with This Is Us, I remember watching it and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is us. I think they did a really good job of taking all these different things about a family that could happen to real families and then highlighting and showing that. I have an adopted son. So the dynamics of like what it's like to kind of come to terms with parenting and parenthood and how you're doing when you have an adopted son, they play all that out. They show that dynamic. They show like the struggles and the differences and like how that feels. And Jack struggles with alcoholism, and there's, a moment where Mandy Moore's character has to look at her and say, how do you feel like you're doing as a parent? Because I feel like I'm 1 out of 10, I'm an 11 most days. I'm killing it as a mom. I'm doing great. But how do you feel you're doing? And it kind of like jolts him awake. He's like, I need to stop drinking. Like, I can't be that good of a dad if I'm an alcoholic. So
I love that. This is a great one. That's a great one that you pulled out right there. I love that. Is this the same Mandy Moore from the singing career that had the singing career too?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta check this out.
Mom, younger, and in makeup, she plays the old mom for the 40-year-olds. So they have her play the role on both ends.
I'm gonna check this out then. All right. On to the next dad. This one's a shocker. This guy was out here doing the work before emotionally availability was a phrase people said out loud. I'm talking about Gomez Addams.
Oh, that was
from the Addams family.
Too.
Was it really? Because I put him on there because he's genuinely one of the most loving fathers in TV history, and nobody ever leads with that fact. He adored Morticia.
For that alone, he gets a top ranking on my list. Yeah.
Celebrated all his kids, everything. Darkness instead of trying to fix them. He celebrated that. And he was emotionally expressive, wildly enthusiastic, and fully himself. Wednesday Addams, the one that we love now, she is who she is because her father never tried to make her be anything else.
Full acceptance, unconditional love.
That's progressive parenting wrapped up in a gothic suit right there, though. I love Gomez Addams.
Absolutely.
That's funny. That was your next one.
We're talking about TV dads, but my favorite Gomez Addams was the movie. That's my personal opinion with them. Angelica Houston playing Morticia.
Yeah, that was the movie that was out when we were younger, right?
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, the 90s. Christina Ricci.
91.
Day.
And you had
Addams Family Values.
Raul Julia was Gomez. Raul Julia was his name.
Yes, he's no longer with us, but he was fantastic. I just think he did the best job. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Who's your next one there?
Well, I feel like I can't not mention some of the TV dads that kind of play into the what not to do trope. I mean, we're talking about like the Homer Simpson types, right?
There you go. Oh, man.
I feel frustrated with The Simpsons, even as I am one of the biggest fans of that show. Always will be. It's like one of those you play it to go to sleep kind of shows you love so much.
Yeah.
But you can't help but be a little bit like, why does Marge have to put up with this? Why does she have to be the one who holds it all together all the time? And as I've grown and become a mom and see my friends as moms and wives, and this is where I get on my soapbox a little bit, but like the women or the wives or the mothers, they end up having to like hold it all together all the time because their husbands just kind of like the bare minimum of dadhood is good enough. The bar is so low that like they would say something like, well, I changed a diaper at least, and my dad never changed a diaper, so you're like, okay, but the bar is still pretty low. You can do bare minimum and still be called a good dad. And I'm like, no thanks.
So if we're talking about anti-dads, and I got the king of the king, Al Bundy. I've already mentioned him once.
Let's do it.
I mean, but here's the thing. This show was literally built as a parody of the family sitcom. I just did a whole rewatch, all 11 seasons. They are so aware of what they're doing. Peg the way she is, Al the way he is. It's on purpose. Al hated his job, hated his life, broke, underappreciated, and spiritually defeated by the universe. He even meets the devil and goes to hell in the final season. Like, it's wild. But here's the thing. He never left. He never quit. He complained every single day and still came home every single night. There's something in that isn't funny at all when you really look at it, But Al Bundy, this is gonna be controversial probably, but Al Bundy is what happens when a man feels trapped and stays anyway because leaving feels worse. And I'm not celebrating that. I'm just saying that at the time this show came out, that was real for a lot of families.
Yes.
And this show knew it.
It is, yeah.
Married with Children knew it. It still is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
anti-dad.
Then we get into like, my whole soapbox thing, which is men taking care of their mental health. It's better for everyone. I mean, I know that the whole like happy wife, happy life is a thing, but just as much as women need to take care of themselves first, put their own oxygen mask on first and take care of their families, Al Bundy is a great example of what happens when you don't take care of yourself so you can be there for your family. If you're a miserable guy, you hate your job, you don't seek any healing or self-awareness or anything that's going to maybe level up your life, then people around you just have to tolerate your misery with you. And that sucks.
Yeah.
And then again, the bare minimum of like, well, he didn't cheat on her. He didn't leave. So I guess he's still okay. I'm like, no, let's do better, guys. Let's do better, men. We can all do better than that.
Yeah. I got two more, and the last one's gonna be the all time great for me. But who's your next one? Who you got?
Ooh, and on the other spectrum of, we've got Homer Simpson and the animated, dads. We have Bob Belcher. We talked a little bit about that when we talked about Linda on the Moms of TV, but Bob Belcher is the opposite of that Homer Simpson trope. Like Al Bundy, Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin, Family Guy. These are all like, or what's the dad in South Park? Stan's dad.
Oh yeah, Stan's dad.
Mr. Marsh. I don't know his
name.
But you've got like these idiotic buffoonery dads who are like, what are you even doing? You're just ruining your family. You're just ruining life for your family and your kids. And your wife has to pick up the pieces, and that sucks. But Bob Belcher is like such a good dad. He is so much just as involved with his kids as Linda is. They are truly a team together. And she might be a little wacky and a little wild, but he is there for it. He loves her for it. He lets her be her. And I am here for it.
Did you watch Bob's Burgers?
Love Bob's Burgers.
I don't, nothing against it. It just never got on my radar. I don't think it was a time when I was, but I've seen some episodes and love what I see. So I had to go back and watch that one. So we're making a list for our summer here. I've got This Is Us and Bob's Burgers on my list so far. I got to get to my, we'll say, underrated dad. People really don't think about. Maybe they do. Carl Winslow from Family Matters is criminally underrated. And I'll die on this hill. Here's why. Here's a cop, working class, Chicago, dealing with the kid next door, Steve Urkel, who is genuinely, objectively a chaos agent. And Carl Winslow showed up every week. Exasperated, hilarious, but present. He wasn't the flashy dad. He wasn't the profound speech dad. He was the dad that came home tired and still tried. That's most dads. That's most dads out there. That was probably my dad growing up. Right here was a Carl Winslow, you know? That's the dad a lot of us had. And we don't talk about that version enough. I think that this version of a dad is undervalued. The tired but still trying dad. Mm-hmm. But we need to celebrate that, you know, because it was real.
Yep. Came home after work and he jumped right in and he was parenting and having those family talks.
Let's not say that so lightly, though. He came home after being a police officer in Chicago. Like that's something. He made the switch. He was able to make the switch when he got home. You know, and that's crazy. Like that's like I said, that's a lot of dads out there. Give me one more, and I'm gonna get to my biggest. You better not say it first. I know you know, but
no, I knew. I was trying to guess which one you were gonna say, and I think you're still gonna say the one I think you're gonna say. But I'm gonna pivot like totally off course here, and give you one you probably wouldn't have thought.
All right.
Eddard Ned Stark from Game of Thrones.
Whoa!
I absolutely, just like on This Is Us, that was centered around Jack, even though Jack is not in it as much. Eddard Stark, Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, the original series, is the main character of the series. And he dies in the first season. Think about that. That's insane to me, that he is the central character that triggers everything that happens and everybody who's connected to him in some way and influenced by him in some way. So
it's wild.
It's wild that they wrote an entire show with 8 seasons based on a character that dies in the first season.
Incredible point. And he's not just a father. He's somebody that's trying to protect a legacy, like the blood, the entire. That's a great one. That might beat mine, but I don't think so.
The ripple effect of being such an honorable man, because I think that like that was passed on to his sons, right? You could see that in his sons and who he called a son. Those of you who haven't watched Game of Thrones, his bastard son, Jon Snow, you see that the ripple effect of raising kids with honor being the central focus, like be an honorable person versus the Lannisters, where there's like no honor whatsoever or honesty or it's just like power and control and gold are the highest value in their family, you know, versus all these other major families and major players. You see the Stark family being a ripple effect of like what they were taught by Ned Stark, which is honor is your currency.
That's a great one right there. I think you win the prize today. Mine and my all-time favorite, and it's not anything out of the blue. It's one that if I didn't mention, people out there the freaks would be yelling at me. And in 1990, a young kid named Will Smith stepped onto a set.
I knew it.
But not just him. There was a man named James Avery, also known on the show as Uncle Philip Banks. It gave me chills just saying that. And the impact that Philip Banks had on all of us, I guarantee you all of us, is incredible. And here's what's wild about Philip Banks is he was supposed to be the antagonist, like the stuffy rich guy that Will had to rebel against, which is kind of in the first couple seasons, but you can still see if you go back and watch now, you can see the later Uncle Phil. He's in there. He's in that. But James Avery made him something entirely. He made him real. That scene, and I know you know the one I'm talking about, when Will's real dad shows up.
Yes. That's what I was going to say.
And he leaves again. And Will breaks down and Uncle Phil catches him. How come he don't want me, man? That's the line that Will says.
Gives me chills and tears every time I see it.
I don't care who you are, where you're from, what your relationship with your own father looks like. That scene hits you. And Philip Banks was not perfect. He was judgmental. Look at his job. You know, he was bougie. He had blind spots. But when it mattered, he showed up every single damn time.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we remember. That's what lasts. James Avery, rest in power. That man gave us something real that that will never, I can watch that now. You can watch that anytime and watch Uncle Phil do his thing. And you feel something with that. You feel something with it. And that's a big loss.
Taking a kid in, you know, and playing the father figure for a kid that's not yours. I mean, that kind of tests his patience, tests his, I don't know, his commitment to it. But, you know, to be dad to his own kids is one thing, but then to have, you know, what is clearly in the first few seasons, you see that inconvenience of like, this is my wife's sister's kid. I got to take in and play father figure to. And then he steps into that role.
But you see that growth arc, like I said, like from the early seasons, he's this stuffed shirt rich uncle. And then he becomes the man who caught a broken kid when no one else could. That's a big jump. Yeah. He went from the punchline to the later seasons. He's the emotional center. Like, he's the show.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, who's your number one? Freaks, who's your number one? Coco, you don't have to answer. You can think on that. Maybe we come back and you got
a lot of number ones. I think I gave today, but I want to know the freaks. What are your favorite TV dads we did not mention?
Yeah.
One that I didn't mention that I think I have to say because it was on my list originally was Frasier. So I'm not super thrilled about Frasier's choice after Cheers to go move however many miles away from Boston to Seattle, away from his son. As a psychologist, I would be like, hey, buddy, don't you know better?
Yeah.
Your son's going to have a complex about this, I'm sure, because for whatever reason you're doing it, it's still not really cool, and he's probably not going to love it. But
he does come back.
Yeah, and then they have the reboot too, which they get to kind of hash some of that out. Freddie is grown up now and has to, you know, confront the disconnect that they have as father and son, which is mirroring the relationship that Frasier had. He comes to Seattle to reconnect with his father, and that father-son relationship that they have being so different. So I feel like for Father's Day, we couldn't not mention that TV dad, Martin Crane being another TV dad that I think was one of my favorites.
Love that. I love that. And here's where we're going to land this spaceship for today, because it really could take off and we could go a whole lot longer. But we talk about representation a lot in media, and we should, but we don't talk enough about what we absorbed accidentally from TV dads. We learned what patience looked like or what it didn't look like. Look at Al Bundy. We learned how men handle failure, how they handle grief, how they talk or don't talk to their kids. Some of it was beautiful. Some of it unrealistic. It was unrealistic expectations is what they were setting. And some of it filled a void that needed filling, you know? Like, that's all worth examining. Not to cancel anything. Like, you watch Al Bundy now and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how this was on the air. We're not doing that. That's not what we're saying. That was aware. But we got to understand ourselves a little bit better. The shows that we watched shaped the adults that we are now. I'm an adult only by age, you know, not in mind, but that's not a small thing. So the question me and Coco are going to leave you with, the freaks. Yeah. Which TV dad shaped how you think about fatherhood?
Yeah, because it may have shaped your parenting style or how you chose to show up as a parent. Maybe contradicted how you were parented from your own dad and saw something different on TV. And also, for some of us, it was a choice of like, who do I want to marry? When for straight women, I'm being, I'm focusing in on that because it's a completely different thing when you, you're looking for another lady to have a family with. But if you're looking for a dad to have a family with, how did it shape how you chose that partner who you thought, I'm going to be parenting children with this person?
What a great episode. And we're right here at Father's Day too. So look at Coco looking ahead at the schedule and planning for the holiday.
Schedule queen over here.
I love that. But yeah, that's going to wrap this episode up. And like I said, it got a whole lot deeper than we thought it would. But we've been talking about this for, I feel like, months. So there was a lot of thought in this. So hope you enjoyed it. This is Parallel Frequencies. I am Just Blane. She is Coco. And you are the freaks. We'll see you on the other side.